Good morning, everyone, and hopefully having a happy weekend here in the US. Due to the escalation in Israel, we reschedule our briefing and we have the interview with Ron Peretz later on. We'll take the opportunity and do around 20 minutes short brief of an update about what's going on right now in Israel, and especially the develop at the northern border of Israel. Don't know who followed the news for the last few hours, but it started with amazing operational attack that actually sabotaged a meeting at the headquarters of Hezbollah Dahya in Beirut. Meeting between the head of operation in Hezbollah with all the lay leader of Red One forces. Red One is the special forces of Hezbollah. And the main reason were to coordinate an attack similar to what we saw in October 7 at the south. Their plan was to invade into the north part of the Galilee and take part of Israel. That was the idea. We don't know the final result of the attack because they are still looking for bodies in the Dahya. And the attack actually penetrated to one of the bunkers 2 stairs under the ground. So it will take time. It will take 2-3 days to understand the final result. But so far, we understand that the main leadership, we know the name of 10 of them, that were in this meeting trying to schedule this attack to the north part of Israel. The attack and other attack at the south part of Lebanon, destroying hundreds of launchers and missiles at the bunkers of Hezbollah, and the attack against the communication system that Hezbollah blame Israel for, and Israel didn't take formally responsibility to, created a huge crisis in Hezbollah, and the response is the expansion of missile attack toward the north part of Israel. We spoke about it before. They reached to the area of Haifa and the Lake of Galilee, the Kinneret. The narrative behind it, from the perspective of Hezbollah, is trying to attack military bases. Ramat David Air Force Base in Hula Valley, or the headquarters of the Northern Command in Tzfat, or the Rafael factories at the Haifa Bay. The result is hundreds of missiles launching toward our main cities and our villages, regardless the military target that show and Hezbollah briefing or following the Hezbollah narrative over the last day. I want to take one step backward and look at what we're seeing from a bird's eye view. It's still the same war and the same system running by the Iranian. From the Iranian perspective, they want to keep it under the threshold of full war. They want to create kind of war of attrition and destroy layer by layer the spirit of the Israeli people, attacking Israel from all around. It started with Hamas at the south, and then the day after, Hezbollah at the north, the Syrian militia and the Iraqi militia at the east, and the Yemen from far south of Israel. All of them trying to be very control and keep it, as I mentioned, under the threshold of war. Even after the attack in Lebanon, you could see that Hezbollah expanded the attack, but still under the threshold of war. And this very ridiculous narrative that's been created, that Israel pushing for full-scale war, and the poor people of Lebanon and the poor people of Gaza are the ones that are trying to prevent an escalation in a war. We have to remember who initiate the whole thing. We never attacked Lebanon. It's all started with attack of Hezbollah, of the Lebanese, toward Israel. So when we hear all those international double standard declaration of Macron in French, of the foreign affairs minister in Britain and others that ask Israel to be under control and send their wishes for the poor citizens of Lebanon that Israel attacked. That's really a kind of double standard. It's really a limited ability of Israel to stop this war and break this connection between those components of the Iranian system, because the whole idea of the Iranian system is to keep the component, all those proxies together, fully coordinated, and again, keep it under the threshold of war and destroying the spirit of Israel bit by bit, layer by layer. We are trying to break this connection between Hamas and Hezbollah, between Hezbollah and the Shia militia, and so far and so on. So far, without a huge success. So if I was a professor from Harvard or some of the academic and looked at this war from that perspective, I would say very easily that the winner so far is Iran and the main loser is Israel. But it didn't end yet. As far as we can see, and there is voices like that in Israel, the solutions started and could be ended, or the key to end or break the system are Hamas. If we'll accept kind of deals that are not on the table right now, to be honest, it was during June and July, but today it doesn't seem that we're in the same situation. And get some kind of ceasefire, even temporary ceasefire, it could be the letter that will help all those proxies to get down of those trees and end the war. And then, or I would say, end this campaign. The war against terror will continue, unfortunately, for the next few years. We'll never be able to eliminate Hezbollah or the idea of the Muslim Brotherhood, and probably the Jewish democratic country in Israel will have to fight it for the year to come. The idea is what kind of level and what kind of quality of life we offer our people. The main goal, change at the north, and that's a significant thing because it changed the perspective of what we're trying to achieve. We didn't declare that we're going to eliminate Hezbollah at that time, thank God. We declared that we want to bring our citizens back to their villages and their towns along the northern border and providing hope for our people. Hope, as I said many times, rely on stability, security, and prosperity. Meaning that we have to create a situation that will allow the people that living on the north to develop their life or the quality of life, I would say, along the border. Back to the days to come. So far, it could be developed is changing the basic situation at the north, which means that Hezbollah, as we could see, expanded the missile launcher to the north part of Israel, putting over 1 million citizens of Israel in shelters and under the cover of his fire. And Israel dramatically changed the way that we are attacking Lebanon. To whom that only count numbers, I must mention that when we're counting the amount of launcher we destroy, it's not only the numbers, but also the kind of target we picked. If so far we were very careful to pick targets that outside the cities that will be able to control fully the collateral damage, now we're taking different kind of risks. We're attacking storages of ammunition and launcher that actually cached under buildings inside the cities. We're trying to do surgical attack, pinpoint attack that will destroy only the ammunitions and only the launcher, but we're taking different kind of risk. And those kinds of targets are well seen in Beirut. And I would say that Nasrallah right now is in really kind of embarrassment, in kind of catch, because for one hand, he suffered very, very strong attack and damages in his organization, in his chain of command. And in the other end, he has obligation to the system, and he have to find his way. It's not going to be easy. To my personally assumption, we won't see him giving up. Terror organizations are not giving up. So even if we'll stay only with a few hundred terrorists that following his order, those few hundred will keep fighting Israel. We won't be able to change the main declaration of Hezbollah without solving the strategically the connection of the system. We be able to deter him, we'll be able to create different kind of situation, but we won't be able to end the war. As I said, the keys, as far as we can see it right now, stay at the south part of the system with Hamas, but we can change the way where we and the challenges for the day after. And from the perspective of Hezbollah, he lost his motivation to extend the fight with us after those few days of attack. He is still suffering, still calculate the damages in his organization. He have hard time the last few hours to control things, to plans, because the group of people that used to be his advisor, the one that he developed with, the step to come are not with him and with us anymore. Thank God. So if I have to wrap it up, we changed the level of friction in 2 clicks at the north part of Israel. At the south, nothing changed. It's still the key. And the next step could be a full-scale war in Lebanon. We are very close to it. Or develop at the south, with it will be able to lead us to solve the situation. About the perspective of Hezbollah, of Hamas, sorry, I think that Sinwar, the leader of Hamas, are looking at what's going on at the north with satisfaction. That's what he tried to achieve from the very beginning, to extend the war and push the other proxies to get fully into contact with Israel. But he's not by himself, and he's under pressure of the Iranian and the Hezbollah that will push him to move forward and be more flexible with negotiating Israel to allow them to get down of this tree. So we are in very fragile situation. The day to come are with a lot of question mark. It's a very complicated chess game against those proxies, and hopefully strategically our leader will make the right decision that allowed us to end this war, because at the end of the day, Israel are not building to long war. We cannot allow ourselves to have another year with those kind of challenges to our economy, to our people, and to our military. And definitely without the support of the international community. And you can see what happened here in New York at the UN the last days. Probably we'll hear it publicly next week. We don't have the support we need for a full-scale war right now. So thank you for listening for this update, and sorry for pushing Rabbi Doron Peretz to next week or to the next few days. We will let you know exactly when we're gonna interview him by Rabbi Weil, and hopefully we all have a quiet and safe weekend in Israel. Thank you.